2025. Roll call, please.
Mayor Pro Tem King,
Yes.
Alderpersons Banker.
Here.
Boonstra.
Here.
Brondike. Burgraff.
Here.
Mask. Here. And Campen. Here. Wilkin. Here.
Say the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of
allegiance to the flag
States
of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mayor Pro Tem, will you be voting tonight?
Yes, I will be voting as well.
Thank you.
All right. We don't have any presentations, no appointments. We're going to go down to number 6, recognition. Tammy, can you come up front, please? Come down around there.
I didn't see her up there.
Tammy, this is our appreciation for what you've done over the last 19 years. And it is weird walking into City Hall. And not talking to you or hearing you laugh or anything like that.
Well, I appreciate it.
Please open it now.
Oh, very nice. It says, with our greatest appreciation, we hereby honor Tammy Garibay in recognition of 19 years of service to the city of Fulton. Happy retirement. Beautiful. Thank you. It's been an honor working with all of you. As a council, I've been through several councils since I've been here. With staff, I've made some very loyal friendships I hope to carry throughout the years. I think you're in good hands. I looked at your treasurer's report. Looks like we left you with almost 2.5 million in reserves. Spend it wisely. I want to thank my family, my husband Ramon, my son-in-law Chris Bennett, my daughter Heather, which you all know. They've been my backbone through all of this. So thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Get that TV up and off. You're fine. All right. Okay, now it's communications for visitors. We're gonna start with Shane Malone.
Yes, sir. How's everyone doing tonight? I spoke with Miss Mask last week, and she gave me some advice that I'm going to be running for mayor of Fulton. She's like, "Oh, I've seen you in here, but I didn't know." So I just want to kind of put a face with the name to the crowd here. That my name's Shane Malone. I did put my name in for mayor of Fulton 2025, so I'm running for election. And if you'd like to follow my journey, I started a Facebook group. It's called Fuel Fulton 2025. Thank you.
All right, next is Nick.
For those who might not know who I am, my name is Nicholas Dumbling, former chief of police. I'm here tonight to talk about Barb Mask and some of the comments and things that she's been talking about recently as of today. I had a conversation with our chief of police about some of your concerns about the community policing aspect of things that have gone on in this community and what the cost is to this community. So I wanted to come and clarify those things for you so you understand that the cost is pennies, if not almost minimal. One of your concerns was the splash days that we did. Every officer that attended every one of those splash days did it at a complete volunteer basis. The popsicles were donated by members of the community. The hoses, I think we bought 2 hoses, Eric.
Sounds about right.
I think the city bought 2 hoses, and those hoses then went to Public Works so they can continue to be used because Public Works needed more hoses. The inflatables, there was members of the community and the Fulton Fund crew that donated inflatables. The rest of the inflatables, I paid for out of my own pocket, okay? So as you have these problems, and this is the problem that Barb Mask has, that if you don't know Barb, she just goes off and she starts having conversations with people in the community, not having all the facts. And that's one of the things that has perturbed me over the course of the last few years. So I implore you to utilize the time that you have left on this council to communicate with your department heads directly, because they are the leaders of this municipality. While you're elected, they're the ones in the trenches doing the day-to-day stuff. The other thing that has perturbed me about you is your inability to handle your own things and utilize the staff as your personal puppets over the last 4 years. They are not your secretaries. They are not the people you go to print out your stuff. That is a complete waste of taxpayer money when it comes down to their salaries when they're working for you and your personal agenda.
All right. Next, we have the consent agenda. I need a motion to approve the regular meeting minutes from January 13th, 2025, and the city council meeting. These are on pages 4 through 7.
Mask approves.
Any comments? Roll call, please.
Alderperson Banker,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem King,
Yes.
Mask,
Yes.
Van Gempen,
Yes.
Boonstra,
Yes.
Wilken,
Yes.
Von Dyke, Bergrat.
Yes.
Okay, we have no current business. We'll go to the committee of the whole, the discussion portion. Start with item number 1, to the liquor committee orientation, ordinance, wait a minute. Ordinance, I'm sorry. Who wants to talk about it?
Well, Renee really has led us, if she would like to start with where we are at this point. Renee, is that work with you?
Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you so much.
Love you. Love you, Tammy.
I love all of you.
Thanks for coming
And I
back.
miss you all.
You can come back.
She's like, I don't have to stay for this meeting. I'm out of here.
All right, Renee. Sorry about that interruption.
Oh, that's okay. So we had a committee meeting today for the liquor licensing. And 2 of the main reasons that we had called that meeting, there were 2 different things. One of them is in our ordinance, we have a 60-day, the businesses have to be up and running with their, using their licenses within 60 days. But we do have a couple, we have Eagle River Liquor, who's still under construction with their add-on, and also Olivia's has had some trouble with getting their state license. They have our city license, but there was some paperwork issues with the previous owner, so they are still not serving liquor there. I looked at the ordinance and it just says that we have the right for revocation, but we talked about it at the committee and we just feel like that we don't want to do that. That they've been, as long as they come in and they let us know what they're doing, and also Adeem and Sonella. They are not up and running yet. They're waiting on some things with their charging stations and some other things. And they're communicating, they're coming in and they're talking to me about it. And I just feel like there's no reason to pull a license.
I agree, communication is key in that scenario.
Yeah, they've been in and talking to us, and there's just some things that they order them and it just takes a long time.
Has Eagle River started?
What?
They have started, okay.
Yeah, so that was one of the issues. The second issue was Attorney Housingay had pointed out in our new ordinance that we have that we're working on, we had put unlimited. and council approval on some of the licenses. And that just, and maybe you can expand on that, Attorney Hasegay, as why that's kind of a conflict of.
Well, I think the issue here is that what the actual act that the state has propounded is that whether or not a license is going to be granted is really solely within the discretion of the liquor commissioner. It doesn't expressly give the council a role to approve individual applicants.
Yes. Yeah. So if we want council approval with these unlimited licenses, those are conflicting.
So
against
just
each
to
other.
clarify, just for everyone, the direction the committee was going was we were, forget the way everything was before what they were. We had new names, so an A would include being able to get alcohol and gaming, right? Any on and off premise?
Yep.
Yep. And then, why don't you explain that? You do it much better than me.
We had the, I don't know if I have that with me or not, but the A licenses, yes, had on and off premise video gaming. We had the gambling den, which is beer and wine on premise with video gaming. We had the restaurants. Now that, and the way we had it set up with the restaurants is they were not gonna have video gaming. That was one of the options.
If a restaurant wanted video gaming, they would apply for an A.
Then they would apply for the A. So we had all new definitions, but it just had come to our attention that what would happen if there was an open license, and then, you know, that does not have to have council approval then. It was just the liquor commissioner approving that. So the council does not have wouldn't really have any say.
Because right now, when the council votes, we're actually adding to.
Yes.
We're voting to add, how is that, would that be put? To add a license.
Yes.
So I think we were thinking, we were like approving, but you're saying we
Right
can't
now, what you
make that
have,
sort of
you
approval.
have a certain number of licenses that are authorized, and then you do have certain classes that have a limit on the type, and then others where it isn't limited.
Yeah.
So you've had to, when you wanted to give an A, when there hasn't been one available, you've had to increase or decrease.
Which that has to go to council.
Was raised previously because of concerns, our concerns of drafting new ordinances, although I would tell you that once you have a template to do that, that's not that much, really.
But I think another problem with that was time. Because it'd be, oh, we need a meeting, and oh, we had to cancel a meeting, so we were pushing people off. Months at a time, we're waiting, so I think that's why we thought if we could have an unlimited for like a restaurant that said, somebody wanted to come over and start a food establishment, but didn't wanna wait and wait and wait for one to open up, then we're losing that type of business, and we want those type of businesses. So that was the thought process behind why we were.
So could we keep a similar chart to like we have now?
And just raise the
Yes,
amount.
increase those number to a point that we know we're not going to reach.
Well, I
Right.
think,
And we did talk about that early on.
We had a good discussion on that topic today, and I think we had a resolution amongst us who were there. Terry, would you agree? And Sue, that?
Yeah,
that we-
what they suggested is that we put a set limit on it, leave it there. If there's any more, they have to come to us, then we can approve it and that. And it's a lot easier for Renee because she's used to the old way, and we have to add A1 in because we already have an A1 license out. So
It
we,
can change to something.
no, they don't
else.
want it changed. And they have to pay another $750, and they don't want an A license, they want the A1, because they don't want to serve.
anyway, it's something that we're still gonna have to discuss and to bring that up. Because I think when I talked to Attorney Hasegay about it, we had said, well, okay, maybe 30 licenses, and maybe 10 of those licenses will be A, like increasing the number, and then having it go that way, where we said, okay, we're gonna have 10 A's, we're gonna have 5 B's or something like that. We're just trying to figure out different options that will work for everybody. So it's still under discussion, but I just wanted to let you guys know kind of where.
We bring it to the council, but we're still at the discussion stage. This is so much more complex than we ever thought it could be, and so we're still working at it.
The other concern that I would have is when the city decides to approve or deny a license, we are potentially subject to a process with the state of Illinois where the licensee can appeal it. So if the council is directly involved in granting that license for one applicant who is otherwise meets every single requirement and we deny it, I think we're inviting that challenge at the state level.
Yes.
Which just, even if it's upheld, it's just costing the city money.
So
And that's going to cost you a lot more than me making a one-page ordinance.
Right, so I don't know if we wanted council approval, but necessarily just a presentation so that we knew about, like, could that be just part of it, that we just want you to go before council, we're not gonna vote, yes, we want you, no, we don't, because like you said, that would open us up to litigation, but just be, I think that all of us wanted to at least be in the know of, hey, they applied, do us the courtesy of just coming and say, I put an application in and this is gonna be my business and this is what I'm gonna do, and just like Mr. Dolan did last meeting. But we're not saying, we're not voting at all.
Could we add that as like a checkbox on the liquor license application that they fill out for us now? Like have you went up in front of the city council?
Yeah.
Or like
And they can
choose
check
a
it
date
off
to
or not, or?
Do an ordinance to put that on.
Because we have turned people down for a liquor license. We have. And nothing has ever happened. I mean, we have the right to do that. But not saying that we're going to, but we have done that.
Well, we had talked about adding
Yeah.
definitely that they come in with a business plan, their profitability. Is this new construction? Are they adding on? Just some of the things that you would want to know with the business. So
More as
that's-
an informational part of the application, but not that we would.
Hinder it.
Right. Or it could be that they put that information to the liquor commissioner and the liquor commissioner comes to a meeting and presents that information to us, that they wouldn't even necessarily have to come.
I would rather see that only because certain people
I
may not
agree.
want the public to know that they may be purchasing this property for this reason.
I agree. I think that would be a safer, more protection for everybody.
Well, I think when we discuss the limitations, we gotta determine the vision for our town too, like how many gaming dens is too many gaming dens? And if we decide that up front, then we're not necessarily discriminating against anybody when they come in to apply for it, you know what I mean? And sometimes the number of licenses has limited that or made that our out if we needed it, so.
We just thought it was a good time to come to and have this discussion with all of you.
If you have a limit on the number of licenses that qualify for the video gaming, then you've also put a limit on the video gaming.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about.
Well, and another thing to keep in mind too is there are zones or territory, parts of town that,
Business district.
yeah, where only those things can be, so it's not like they can be anywhere in town either. So that limits people as well.
And going back to the 60-day ordinance, to me, I mean, I'm just suggesting when the committee thinks I would extend that out, that's gonna
Yes.
save you that time of people coming in and explaining.
Yeah.
I think we already wrote that in.
I think
we
we put 120. 120 days.
Because I know
Even
I've
that.
talked to people that have waited up to 6 months to get that state license,
Well, just contractors, even if you're expanding or something like that.
so.
So maybe we don't even put a deadline on it, maybe it's after a year. If there's no progress in a year, then we have the right to revoke, I don't know. Good points that we can bring up at our next meeting, I jotted
for
down
sure.
some notes.
Anything else? All right.
No.
We'll go to item number 2, Dan Dolan's Class A liquor license request.
Well, from what they said, that he wants to sell hot dogs and coffee. That's it. That's not a Class A liquor license. That's it. And
But I thought he said something about liquor too, selling liquor.
He
Well, he wants the
gaming.
liquor license because he wants the gaming
He
license.
wants the gaming, yeah.
Yeah, but he's gonna sell beer and wine? That's still not a Class A liquor license.
I just go-
That's more like a gambling den.
Yeah.
That's what, yeah, so.
I was confused on the need for that license for what he said he was going to do.
Let's
Like
just
I said,
table that
we're
one.
still in discussion on all these licenses, so it's like, we don't have to make a decision on that, we're
We
still
can
just.
table that while we're wrestling with these other numbers that we're
Yeah.
still.
Renee,
Was
can
there
you-
a time crunch on that at all? Like, did he have an estimated date of,
He didn't say anything.
we should have asked that, okay.
But there was also a good point brought up by Terry at the fire station. If he's gonna have a drive-through right there, that's gonna be complications for the fire station, so we're gonna have to figure that out, because if they get a call, and if there's a line of cars there, they gotta get out of the way.
Well,
It's gonna be
Terry,
a
it's an
conflict.
issue right now, even that.
There, yeah, you
Yeah.
can run into it, during the day.
We said we'd refer that back to the Public Safety Committee because already there is a lot of cars parked there where they were trying to get the big fire trucks out and it's a problem. So that liquor, maybe we referred that back to the Public Safety Committee to come back with you next month with that.
Why don't you guys do that?
Like, there'll be 3 or 4 backed up at the stop sign waiting to get either across or on 84. When you come up behind them, there's nowhere for them to go.
Yeah.
So you're in the oncoming traffic, you got somebody that can turn in there, that's just not a good setup.
I might have to reach out to IDOT and see if we can do a traffic study to see if we can even get that, maybe that speed limit slowed down from a 45 to a 35 or something. That might help.
And I don't know what it would take to get the flashing lights, I know.
Different towns got that, but I could reach out to somebody at IDOT probably and
For fire,
at least
fire
get,
truck entrance or something.
yeah, because, there's no signage for it at all.
Is there any way we can make that just entrance that way but exit for the
You're
fire
gonna have to be
department?
careful
but-
because you're a state route. You're
Okay.
coming off the state route, so the only person that can change anything with the state route is the state.
Okay, yeah, just have enter only and then exit out the other
I
way.
agree, but you can't do nothing with anything to do with any part of a state route.
Okay, all right.
Terry, can you guys look into that, public safety? Renee, can you get a hold of Dan and see if you can get some more details on what his plan is?
Sure, absolutely.
Have it for the next meeting?
Specifically like a date that he had in mind, like if he's thinking this spring or not till next fall, just an idea.
And if you, let's find out what he's actually talking about selling. Over there.
Yeah, for sure.
We'll put that on Tori for discussion next month too. Alright, we'll move on. Continued discussion on the condemned property on 12th Avenue. Adam?
Well, I think it's at the point right now where, I've done my due diligence as far as seeing if the bank has any interest in it, if the homeowners do, either one does. So I think it's just more or less what the city wants to do, to take it over, demolish it, or, go that route. So it's more or less.
That's what we discussed at the last meeting, which is that you have certain options. There's condemnation, but that's an eminent domain proceeding, so you've got to pay, you've got to go through a whole process with appraisals and the whole 9 yards to determine value. You could just approach the property owner about possibly just negotiating a price, or we go through a proceeding through the courts to actually either compel the owner to tear the house down or get court permission for the city to do so, in which case the city would have a lien against the real estate for its costs.
Is there a way if we get them to sign off, the owners?
That's what I was number 2.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear
Or
you.
can
I
get the
didn't.
owners to just give it to the city or sell it for $1 or whatever. But they would have to
This
be
family
willing
might even
to
consider doing
communicate.
that,
Any talks with the neighbors if they
Might want
want the property, the lot?
The only one to the west of them is Tom Wiebengay, I think, owns that little parcel, but to me, it didn't sound like he was interested in it, so I would say no.
Did we look into the cost to tear it down?
Well, I think Eric did, didn't you?
It's anywhere between 8,000 to 10,000.
So a person can own property, it can be condemned, and we don't have any recourse to make them?
Not unless you go through the legal proceeding to do it.
And you're saying that's where the expense comes in?
That's where the expense comes in.
So it'd be more than the $8,000 to $10,000 to tear it down?
Correct, because you would have the court proceeding, the cost of the court proceeding itself.
Are the taxes current?
I did look, they were current as of the last tax bill.
Who owns the apartments, Adam, behind it? Who owns them apartments?
Oh, man. That old funeral home building, you mean?
Yeah.
Who does?
Used to be Trimble.
Yeah, Trimble, yeah.
Is it still him?
Yeah.
Because I wonder if he'd be interested in purchasing it. For parking with all their.
Eric, was that cost just to demolish the house?
Yeah, well, demolish it and,
Oh,
leave it grass, essentially.
Nothing about the garage behind it?
No, that includes.
It'd have to
garage,
come
yeah.
down.
It would include the
Yeah.
garage? Okay. Cause I was looking at that don't look too stable either,
No,
so.
I feel like our hands are tied.
You guys wanna have Eric or Adam see if they'd be interested in giving it to the city?
Yeah, see if
I can
they.
do that. I'll reach
So
out.
does the bank have the deed still then, or are they just gonna release the deed back to?
I think they're putting it back on the Buenos.
So the Buenos will have the deed and they can sign the deed over to us?
I would still recommend if they're willing to cooperate, that a title search be done on the property before the city takes the title.
Because they
Yeah.
have defaulted on their loan, they've gone into foreclosure.
Because I don't think it's been done.
Back into.
Yeah, that's the hard part, we can't really sell it.
Yeah. Someone has to do something, they won't do anything.
So how exactly are we inheriting this house? Like, what's the legal reason the city's getting it?
Well, the house is about ready to fall down.
Right.
It's a
But
danger.
why
It's
is
a
it
it's a
not
danger.
why is it not the owner or the bank's responsibility?
That's my question.
The bank walked away. They
Bank-
literally walked away from their mortgage. They released their mortgage. They no longer have any lien on the property.
The bank.
The
So-
bank.
So that,
Because initially, we believed the bank was going to take care of it, that they were going to foreclose and take care of it.
so
And then they made a different decision. They walked away from the mortgage, released the property owner from it. So the bank is no longer involved in this. As I said, the property owner, the only way to compel them to do it, if they're not cooperative, is through a court proceeding.
And it's probably gonna end up
The
spending
city
more
can't
on
just come in and,
the court proceeding than.
Well, I
just
understand
get
that,
it
but-
tear it down.
I just thought that.
is it, I think I mean, that's up to everybody. My first thought though is maybe pros and cons of doing that at the cost of the court proceeding versus a tear down, because also you're kind of starting to set precedents that we just walk away and let the city have it.
Yeah.
I guess that's my concern also, is that we have other properties that once we do that, wouldn't be that an easy way then for other people to say, well, let's just walk away from it?
Because we can get into now bigger and worse building sites that are very costly to tear down. I mean, right, does that make sense?
Yeah.
I would agree with that. I have a real reservation about us taking on to it.
Well, especially since it's not really saleable after we do, you can't build on it, you can't.
You can't do
The
nothing.
property had some value for the city to do something with, and it really isn't large enough for that.
And most of your other communities do have something like this in place, you know, Rock Falls, Sterling, they tear down 19 to 24 homes a year on their
But do they
dime.
not get those, they get these tax default?
They'll get, and they'll sell in their little bigger lots too, you know, Clinton does it too.
Right, but I mean, that's why they don't choose to take them, they get them for tax default, my understanding would be. In this particular case, taxes are paid up to date.
Right.
So the homeowner, right?
the community in which the property is located doesn't get the property because they've defaulted on it. What happens is those taxes are put up for sale.
Right.
Then a third party either buys those taxes, or if they don't, then there's a program through the state. And then ultimately, once you've gone, and it's an extended period of time, you actually have to not pay your taxes for several years. Before we actually get to the point where the tax purchaser takes it to court and has a tax deed issued in their name. So you're looking at about 3 years before we would even get to that point.
It's interesting to me that they're paying the taxes on it at this point.
Yeah, but they won't tear it down.
So we haven't been able to contact the Buenos, that's been.
Yeah, did you?
Adam's gonna.
Have you had conversation with them about that's what they need to do and they're just saying, no, we won't do it?
The last conversation is more or less, because they were gonna try to come up with the funds to do it, and they just have not been able to, and I think that's when they kind of went back to the bank to see if they could work something out, and the bank said, we're cutting ties from it, so I haven't really talked to the family since that point happened, but I can easily reach out and say,
And maybe just, tell them like, if you don't do this, the city may take you to court.
Yeah.
Like, they might not realize that.
she does.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I told her
Okay.
that, and she said, I understand completely, but
Okay.
really didn't give an answer, but that she did, understood.
Okay.
So.
And the taxes, property taxes are paid up to date?
Yes. They may have been paid through a tax escrow through the bank, but they were paid up to date through the last tax bill.
So the next time they may not be.
Right.
So nobody's bought them out.
So we're just gonna continue this discussion?
Well, I feel like maybe we send them another letter or make contact with them, give them another period of time and then.
Maybe they
we
wanna
can
try to
move
sell
forward.
it. I don't know, like, have they had enough time
Maybe
to
a letter
explore
to
their
them
options?
saying what we,
You
what
would
we're
think they have,
thinking here.
it's been a while, I mean, it's been almost a good year already. Well, April will be a year.
Well, but since the bank turned away, it's
Oh.
only been like
Couple months.
2 months.
Yeah.
So maybe they need some more time to explore new options since they pulled out, Maybe there would be a buyer if they put a for sale sign out there and they wanna tear it down and build something else there. Like, we don't, that'd be a better thing that could happen than us.
Yeah, because it ain't big enough to build another house there.
Be a small
Be a
one.
little house.
Yeah, but I think,
Or even if someone wanted to build some sort of shed or shop or,
I don't know.
I don't know. Land is scarce in our town, so you never know, somebody might want it.
Why don't you reach out to them and find out what their intentions are?
I can do that.
And tell them the possibility that we'll take them to court.
Court proceedings could take place.
Yeah, to tear it down.
And I think stress that it's important to the neighborhood
Oh, yeah.
that we take action on that. I think we owe it to the people who live there.
Cause the next strong wood could easily take down part of the structure and, you don't wanna hurt anybody.
Yeah. Do we know, is it staying uninhabited?
Oh, yeah, you definitely don't wanna be inside there. But at one point, we did have some people that kicked in the door and wanted to use it for their
So does our,
whatever, rendezvous stuff or whatever. But
does our property maintenance code speak to this? Does it say like steps to take for this type of thing, or does it go that in depth? I mean.
it doesn't go that into depth.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll make a phone call first thing tomorrow, to Stacy.
Okay.
Thanks, Evan.
Okay, continue discussion on the marina appraisal.
We haven't received anything, unless it came this afternoon, we haven't received anything yet.
Continue that for next meeting. Okay, just a reminder, February 3rd, budget workshop again, 6 o'clock.
And that's the night we're sharing our goals. That's a goals discussion tonight.
And in the packet on page 8, we have the upcoming city council meetings that year.
Yeah, I included that for convenience. By IML rules, it does have to be posted on our website, which I have done. Just put it in there so everyone would have a copy.
Okay, thank you. Okay. And then discuss the report from Andreessen's Nature Center.
Well, Kyle does a really good job managing that property for us. We're very fortunate to have him, manages, does a lot of work himself there, organizes it, gets volunteers lined up. They have a lot of programs and summer sessions, so we're just really fortunate to have Kyle. We talked about, animals and critters and the bees and monarchs and people who love those kind of biological, scientific things in the community. It's a real asset for him to have. So he tries to give us an update every year on what he's doing there.
Do you guys have any questions from that report?
No, it was nice to see though. I don't know much about the Andreessen Nature Center, so it was nice to read through.
It's worth a visit.
Committee reports. Okay.
There's one there from the Historical Society, I think, isn't it?
Down further.
I don't know why. Yeah, it always is down further.
Yep, number 6, next one. Any questions on that report, the Historical Society report?
Just that we're closed in December and January, but we're busy because we have people who are looking for research on their homes or on their business. I just have one from a downtown business that wanted research on their building. We have a family that's fairly new, moved into Fulton, and they wanted research on their home. So we remain busy doing those kinds of things even when we're not open to the public. But
any questions?
Nope.
And need a motion to go into closed session.
Mask moves that.
Roll call, please. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry about that. I've asked Amanda to be at the second meeting in the month for a while. So if you guys have questions, and everybody keeps telling me they do, about the treasurer's report and stuff, please bring them so she don't just sit here for nothing.
Could you explain what Fund 33 is?
Fund 33 is the payback of one of our bonds.
Okay.
So any payments are coming out of that fund, so it's going to be a negative fund. It's, how do we all gonna say, like commingled with the general fund, so the payments come out of that even though.
Okay, so they just created Fund 33 for bond payments, correct?
I had one question about the annual licensing fee for, I think it was video gaming. Is that, so that's one time a year we get a license fee for that, for the 6,000?
I believe so, yeah. Okay. I don't get to see the individual transactions, I just see,
Just
you know,
the
the
overall.
picture. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Renee handles that.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah,
just,
it's one
that's
time
one
a
time a
year.
year, okay.
Yeah. They expire Christmas, or New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
So Amanda will attend our meetings when we have the full treasurer's report in our packet, correct? Amanda?
Yeah.
Because then we
Please
get,
have your questions, 'cause
we get to see the graphs and things like that. Which there's this.
anybody else got a question for
She'll always come in that, yeah.
And I appreciate you
We
coming.
didn't have it in our packet, Jackie was here.
Right.
So, make sure you have your questions for us. Good. All right, roll call.
Alderperson Bockrack? Yes. Banker? Brondike? Wilkin?
Yes.
Van Campen?
Yes.
Bass? Yes. Boonstra?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem King?
Yes.
to thank you for